In the books, Arizona Cardinals out to a commanding lead first half of the first preseason game. A lot of storylines to talk about, believe it or not. Locked on Cardinals, first halftime show of 2022. Here we go.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, first installment of Halftime Show 2022. Alex Clancy, Locked on Cardinals. Cardinals got out to a pretty good start to the 2022 season. All right. Exciting. Football's back, mostly backups, but I'm going to get to a point where we're going to have serious conversations about Zaven Collins and Marco Wilson. And I know it's very early. Thanks for making Locked on Cardinals your first listen each and every day, free and available on all platforms. Truly appreciate the love, the following, everything. We got a big year coming up, and truly appreciate you being around. Hope everybody enjoyed the first half. If you have questions, have comments, drop them in the chat. This is an open forum halftime show. You can talk about what you want to talk about. You know, the Cardinals come out to a double-digit lead, and Trace McSorley has looked great as the backup quarterback. Benjamin looked good early. The two third-rounders have looked pretty good coming off the edge. Majai Sanders and Cam Thomas. You know, a lot of boxes have been checked through the first half of the first playoff game, or of the first preseason game for the Arizona Cardinals. That is a good sign, okay? There are certain things that you look for, and a couple boxes have been checked. It seems like if Trace McSorley is going to make the team, he may be the backup in the future, depending on what they want to do with Colt McCoy. And I know this is one half of one preseason game. But if you listened to the podcast earlier today or watched on YouTube, follow on Twitter, Clancy's Corner, this is where the overreaction starts immediately. It's human nature. It's like, okay, these things that we saw right now aren't going to change. This is what it's going to be like. So we need to make these grandiose decisions and opinions based upon 30 minutes of football that doesn't count. No, I get it. All right. But there are little flashes of things that we saw that are telling through one half of football and hopefully will not become, trends that we're going to see through 2022. I mean, Trace McSorley, 13 for 22, 163, and a touchdown. That's cool. There are a couple things that I saw that I noticed during the first half that we saw last year. One, it was a 3rd and 7 bomb down the sideline to Andy Isabella. We saw that. We knew that. That's one of Kyler Murray's favorite throws to make, and got bailed out by underthrow, got bailed out by pass interference. But 3rd and 7, deep bomb down the sideline, we know that. That's in our blood. People that watch the Arizona Cardinals, whether it be covering them or being fans of theirs forever, and especially since Cliff Kingsbury took over with Kyler Murray under center. We know that. We feel that. Deep ball, 3rd and whatever. It's a deep ball down the sideline. We saw that. Vance Joseph is making the most out of his pass rushers. Okay? Victor Dimukeje got home twice. 2 sacks. He looks great off the edge, and I know these are backup wide receiver, backup offensive linemen. But it's nice to see that Victor Dimukeje is making his name, because they're going to need some help. 6th-round pick. Benjamin, 7th-round pick. Trace McSorley, late-round pick by the Ravens. Like, this would be a perfect time for late-round draft picks to all hit in some capacity all at one time. It'd be fantastic because we've been waiting for it. Will Hernandez, 1-year deal signed from the New York Giants, had a gaping hole up the middle for Jonathan Ward on the short touchdown run. He's looked good. Josh Jones has looked good. This offensive line has looked good. And Trace McSorley, I saw him, I think it was when Lamar Jackson was out, RG3 got hurt mid-game, and then Trace McSorley almost brought them back. I think it was against Pittsburgh on like a Wednesday night game during COVID time. Like Trace McSorley's got some giddy up. You know, he's got maneuverability. And all in all, offensively, this team looked good. Andy Isabella had a chunk gain down the line. Greg Dortch had a great catch on a somewhat of a go fade route that Trace McSorley was able to drop over the defender. Like the offense, there's really no got to work on that. Got to work on that. On the defensive side of the ball, we're having a different conversation. And it's not like it's going to be an issue moving forward, but through the first half of one game, it was an issue. Zaven Collins doesn't know what he's doing out there. And that's something that is troubling. He doesn't look like he knows where he is. And that's something where it's like, sure, one half of football. That's all we have to go on right now. Zaven Collins does not look like he is prepared to be the middle of this defense, prepared to be the Mike. He doesn't look prepared. And this could be a bevy of things. One, it could be he hasn't played football in a while. Okay? Neither has anybody else. Number two, he doesn't have, and this is preseason, so Jordan Hicks wouldn't have played anyways. There's pressure on him to perform now. There is no safety net. If you listen, if you don't, please check out Locked On Cardinals Monday through Friday, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. YouTube as well. Subscribe, like. If you turn notifications on, you'll be able to see whenever I post a new video, whenever I go live, things like that. There's no safety net for the Arizona Cardinals defense anymore. There's no Jordan Hicks. There's no Chandler Jones. And they haven't done a whole bunch to the cornerback room at this point. So this is sink or swim, real life football edition, and not sink or swim, we'll have some veterans come in and carry the load for you. So it's a little unsettling, just a little bit, to see Zaven Collins not being able to understand where to be during a preseason game when, as a first-round pick, you would think that he'd be a guy that'd be head and shoulders above the competition of second and third string guys that he's playing against. Now, again, one half of football. If it were me, I'm playing him the whole game. Not only to have him get his sea legs under him, but for him to realize it doesn't matter if it's preseason or not. This is your defense now in the middle of the field. Own that. He was getting wrapped up by offensive linemen. And I'm not going to harp on it, but it's like those are things that we saw. And it's not the greatest. Now, Marco Wilson, same thing. He's been coming off injury. Okay. He's probably rustier than Zaven Collins is. And he just didn't look great. Not to say it's going to be bad, not to say anything like that. But from what we saw, those two, the two guys who are expected to take big leaps when real football starts, didn't look great. Now, on the positive side, there's a bunch. The 2 third-round picks, Majai Sanders, Cam Thomas, lived in the backfield when they were set up to rush the passer. Fantastic. And again, preseason, hedge it, but they look good. Okay? The pass rush as a whole looked good, as I mentioned. Victor Dimukeje came off the edge twice and just mopped the floor with Jake Browning and the starter quarterback whose name eludes me right now. Good pass rush. Because listen, if I were to pick one thing for the Cardinals to excel at, we're taking out Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson because they're obviously the leaders of this defense. If I were to choose one entity on the defensive side of the ball to take a step forward when they haven't been given a whole lot of talent this offseason, is the pass rush. Because it's not lockdown corners, it's the pass rush. And the reason why it's the pass rush is because if you have a solid pass rush, you are able to make a weaker cornerback room look stronger, just like we saw during the first half of 2021. It wasn't Byron Murphy playing excellently and then kind of falling off after. It was that, but infused with a pass rush that was having quarterbacks get the ball out maybe a half a second or a full second earlier, which makes cornerback's job easier. So if the pass rush becomes something, if they can figure out, Steve, you maniac. I'm not moaning about anything, bro. Everybody laugh at Steve. I'm stopping everything. I'll wait. I'm going to keep your ass up. I'm going to keep your ass up till 2:20 now. Just sitting here for 4 minutes. That's your punishment. If you can get a pass rush from young pass rushers, it's a game changer for this team. It makes everybody's job easier if you can get a pass rush. And what we saw during the first half, and I know that it's the first half, and I know that it's a preseason game, and I know that there's no starters on Cincinnati starting. It's a start. It's a start. And that's the fun part. We're seeing the future of the Arizona Cardinals potentially. Some good, some not so good, but through one half of football, Cardinals look pretty good. Because this is the plan. The plan is for the offense to be great and the defense to tread water. That was the offseason plan by Steve Keim, and it's obvious. Load up the offense, draft a couple defensive players in middle rounds, and let her rip. Let her rip. I will tell you, I saw on the sideline, Zaven Collins and AJ Green were standing next to each other. Isaiah Simmons and AJ Green were standing next to each other. Sweet mother, Isaiah Simmons is big. He is a large man. And he looks like he dropped a little weight. Like, I think he's primed and ready. I'm so excited for the next 2 preseason games. Thanks for hanging out with me. Second half's about to start. You will be able to check me out every halftime of every single game from now through week 18. Hang out, turn the notifications on, tell your friends. I'm going to build this up, baby. Alex Clancy, Locked on Cardinals. Thanks for hanging out. And Steve, yeah, I'll let it slide this time. Enjoy the second half, and I will talk to you Monday.